when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, footies, and all who are tuning in. If you're just listening live, you're listening to UFO, Paranormal and United Public Radio Network, and this is the thing at the bed, thing at the foot of the bed, and I'm one of the co-hosts, Lorilei Potvin. My amazing co-host David Hanzel and good friend is next to me. I do all the housekeeping, get it out of the way, and then Dave introduces himself, and then we jump into the show. You guys are all here. Great to see you. Hope you're staying cool, unless you're over in Australia, where in the southern hemisphere, where I believe you guys are getting the cooler weather. So. Anyways, I am Lorilei Potvin, one of the hosts of the show. I'm also the host of my own show, The Angel Rock, on Mondays here on UPRN, Monday nights, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I have officially been on this network 5 years. I can't believe it's flown by. Love it here. A little bit about myself. I'm a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, registered nurse. I'm also, what else am I? I'm a communicator. I'm well-versed in the paranormal. Having my last previous home was extremely haunted. I always say we wouldn't go looking for the paranormal, it found us. And we shared our story on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor, Season 4, Episode 9. I'm also well-versed in near-death experiences, having had one as a toddler, and studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years. Now, if you guys like what you see, please like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends and family. This network's been around for 25 plus years, and there is something really for everyone on this network. We stream multiple shows 7 days weekly, and when we're not streaming live, the archive server kicks in and randomly picks shows over the last 25 plus years. I believe we are well up to 40 hosts on the network, live hosts, and we're always adding new shows and new content. So yeah, if you like it, click like, subscribe, share, and jump in and join the conversation. If you want to watch on TV many of the shows on this network, you can. We have our own TV channel on Roku. What you're going to do is go to the channel store and type in UFO space P as in paranormal. There's a drop-down list, and you're looking for, I think we're at the third or fourth one down. You're looking for UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio. Just radio, no network. And you can find us. You can watch us on TV. Now, if you guys want to comment, we've got a lot of our regular crew here. 80% of our listening audience is listening only. We do broadcast to every country in the world, this network, believe it or not. So it's kind of nice. We've got people from all over the world. Excuse me. However, if you're listening, we can't see your comments. So how you can join in the conversation, like Julie Jean Bassett, Diane Brighton, Joe Fox. I'm going to go a little higher. We always say hi when we start the show. I don't want to miss anybody. Jennifer M. I think that's everybody so far. What you can do is head over to UFO Paranormal and United Public on Radio Network on Facebook and YouTube. David is streaming on his YouTube channel, The Spirit Experience, as well as, is it They Whisper to Me Tonight, Dave, or just...
my personal profile on Facebook, Medium David Hanzel.
Okay, and I'm streaming to my personal profile on Facebook, which is under Lorilei Potvin. It's public, so anybody can comment there. You don't have to join in. I'm streaming to my YouTube channel, which is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. We're streaming on Canada's Most Haunted, numerous other places on Facebook. We are streaming to Instagram on The Angel Rock. Just so you know, I will try and pop in there to say hi to you guys, because you don't integrate your comments in with the rest here on StreamYard. So please don't think we're ignoring you. We will try and and make you a part of the show too. Because if you've been to the show before or you've been to the Angel Rock, you know both of these shows are very audience participative. As I always say, if you guys weren't here, we would be doing shows like this. Dave and I would just be having cool, awesome conversations like about bears in the woods and things, and probably we'll see more about that today.
Yeah, because that's all about like bringing stuff in that you thought about.
I think I remember everything. So go ahead, Dave. Hi, Anna Marie. I want to say hi to Anna Marie. Anna Martins de Silva. I must not working tonight. And David Kudahi. I think you two are new. Hi, Kathy Henry Little. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Hi, you guys. So my name is David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium, a channel. I'm a spiritual coach as such. I do a lot of the things Lorilei does. Animal communicator, total freaking weirdo, all kinds of fun stuff like that. I do want to mention really quickly is we have a Facebook group now, and it's called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel.
It's growing. It's growing.
It's getting there. Now, the thing is, if you are just listening to us and you want to see the videos that we sometimes show, we'll try to describe all the videos for you, like a play-by-play, like a football game, but we can only do so much. But if you want to see those videos, please make sure you join that group. Plus, you can drop any comments in there, any show ideas. You can tell about your experiences. Everybody in there is a paranormal fun person, just like the rest of us are. So it's
or even share their own stuff if they want an opinion on it. Like
exactly. If you have like pictures of stuff that you want feedback on, feel free to put it in there. Also, once we get up to, we're not too far now, we're up to 200 subscribers.
We're at 114. I just added
114. And it's not that's not bad because we're pretty new. So go ahead and give us a follow. And once we have the 200, Lorilei and I will probably, we will go in and do some lives once in a while in the group and do readings for you guys and all kinds of fun stuff. So with that being said, Lorilei had mentioned bears. And so long story short, where I live now in North Carolina, it's not someplace, I mean, there's bears in North Carolina, of course, but I never really thought. I've lived here now for 13 years, never saw a bear, never thought about bear. I went up to this park called Crowder's Mountain all the time. After today, this made me freak me out. But last year, I would always go up there. And I mean, I'd be up there till dusk by myself, sitting at a picnic table, doing lives and doing readings in the woods. And there'd be like nobody around. It's just dark. And but anyway, I now moved to a place called Kings Mountain, which is probably about 10, 15 minutes west of that, I believe. And we've been having sightings. We had a couple sightings in Charlotte of bears. And Charlotte's not too far from me. It's like the big main city in North Carolina, the big city. And they had said, bears will come in from Virginia, whatever, and kind of migrate through. And I thought, well, they probably passed Kings Mountain. Anyway, so when I heard that bear thing, I live right next to the woods. I've got all woods right around me. I'm surrounded on 3 sides by woods. And now I go out to my yard. I'm like, ooh, a little, paranoid for a minute. And then I thought, why are you paranoid? There's not going to be a dang bear here. And so I kind of got over it. And then today I went to go for a walk for the first time. I love to go in the woods. I go to the Gateway Trail, which is by my house, about 5 minutes away. And right when you walk up, there's a sign saying, beware of the wild animals. And if you see a bear, and I'm like, wait, what do you mean if I see a bear?
Never mind the snakes. Like, I should pull the sign up. You sent me the picture. Like, it lists the animals, but basically, and David and I are animal lovers. So we agree. Hi, Michelle Kleckler Caps. And I want to say hi to Connie Martins. She was here and I missed her. And I see John Minetta, who I have not seen in forever. If you're still there, John, hi. Miss ya. He's over on Instagram. Okay, so but what it basically said is don't hurt them. Be aware of them, but don't hurt them. That was the gist. Wouldn't you agree if the whole sign, like it said snakes?
The sign I thought was great. The thing was, I'm like, what do you mean bears? I mean, I've been going 10 minutes away in this giant mountain and you're telling me there's bears now in the woods? But that's because the last bear sighting here was in October of last year that they had. And I'm like, that's only 9 months away. And I was I actually freaked myself. I talked myself out of not walking that trail because I got paranoid.
Well, no,
And
we talked about it.
yeah.
Because living in Thunder Bay in northwestern Ontario, we've got some fellow Canadians and probably from the south, or south, we do have southern U.S. citizens, but I'm talking northern too. You have to be careful. And as I always, Julie Jean Bassett said, of course, bears are in the woods. The thing is, right? You know what? And you know this, David. I know you know this very well. So for anybody listening, maybe that doesn't experience this, obviously the woods is the animals' homes, but most animals do not want to interact with humans.
Yeah,
they don't. But we were talking about when bears have cubs. Now, I said, I'm not sure what it's like in North Carolina, but I know up here, bears have their cubs in the spring because it's time to nurse, to feed them. Around this time, they're starting to teach them, trying to fatten them up before they eventually go have their big winter sleep, right? So that's who you don't want to be around. Yeah, I said this to Julie, and David knows this. Julie says bears and other animals are being pushed out of their homes.
Yeah, they've said they've had more and more.
That plus the bugs are really bad right now because of the heat. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
It's we're not really doing readings tonight, Leslie, but we'll see if we can't answer that possibly.
You can stick around, Leslie. We do answer. We don't usually do readings on this show. So,
but anyway, what was I going to say? So to get this back to like the weird side is I'm like one of those manifesting maniacs. I'm always manifesting something and something, sometimes very small. But I'll tell you, I got it stuck in my head about the bears, and everywhere I looked, there was a bear. I tried to go for a walk. There was a sign for bears. I was like, oh my God, what happened? I got to stop. You know, what it was is I got caught up in the fear of bears. And when I got caught up in the fear of bears, I've been thinking about it because I want to move to like a big house in the deep mountains, which are about an hour and a half.
Get used to bears then.
Yeah, and it's like, if before I do that, it's almost like the universe going, hey, we're going to show you bears because where you want to go are bears. So if you can't handle it, that's just not the place to go. And I thought, oh my gosh, I manifested it, but I did. I kind of came to peace with it. It did say, and which is smart, and I should get used to it. You are totally allowed in any of these trails to carry like air horns or pepper spray or bear spray. Mm-hmm. They said it's okay. It's just, you can't kill a bear, which I don't want to kill a bear. I mean, I really don't care. Even if the bear was running at me, I'd be like, no, bear, don't make me shoot. I don't even want to spray the bear. I just want to go that way. But they don't. Leslie, don't feel sorry at all. Don't feel sorry.
You know what? We can answer a question quickly.
Yeah, we can answer your question.
So Leslie, I'll answer it for you. And I know Dave's going to throw his 2 cents worth. And I know we'll probably be on the same page. So she says, hi, began a course in energy healing. And while I'm unemployed, should I get a job or focus on the course at the moment? The first thing I'll say to you, obviously you need money to live, but I'm feeling very strongly about your course and what you learned from it. Okay, you got two choices here. Okay, when you finish the course and once you've done your practitioner work and what have you, and you're able to work on other people, you take the job, the other job, the muggle job, as I call it. That's the big thing that people do, right? Once we're working on a muggle job and we're transitioning into a more energy field type of spirituality work, that's where it gets scary. You're kind of at the perfect place. So if you can afford to live, I would say focus on the course because there are a lot of people looking for alternative healers out there. It's how you market yourself, how you put yourself out there. So that would be my thing. Make sure you're well looked after. If you're able to feed yourself and put a roof over your head, definitely focus on the course because I feel strongly about it. How about you, Dave?
I agree with Lorilei, and I'm going to add something to that might be of a lot of help to you. Yes, thank you. So, sorry, guys. So anyway, same thing Lorilei said. If you are good with the course and just doing the course, you're okay. I'm going to tell you this, though. Sometimes when you feel like you're getting pulled, if you're getting pulled and it's not out of fear, there's a reason why you're getting pulled. In the work you're about to do, it's really good to be involved in other people outside of your life to see how other people act. I'm going to tell you that years ago, I took on a regular job and I ended up working in a deli, and I don't eat meat. And I thought, how did this happen? But after 7 years of being there, as crappy as it was and everything, there were definite reasons why I worked there for a while. And it had a lot to do with a lot of spiritual stuff. I met a lot of people, and it's funny when people would find out why I didn't eat meat. And I don't care if people eat meat. I'm not saying that. Y'all eat as much meat as you freaking want. I just don't. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's just not a good thing for me. But plus I get really, really ill. But if you take on an extra job or even a part-time job because you want some extra, I think it's going to be beneficial to you, not just the money wise, but the experience wise, because as you're doing this course about energy healing, you're going to be taking everything you learned at those times and applying it actually in your awareness at your job with other people. Because I'll tell you, the most important thing I think I ever did, even being a medium, and, mediums and all that, we'll always say, we had terrible lives, and yes, I can go back and say, yeah, I had a terrible life, blah, blah, blah. Everybody has a terrible life. But I will tell you, I don't care about that terrible life anymore because I learned so much from it. And I've been through so many situations that's funny I encounter in my readings. And it happens all the time. So I think it's a decent thing if you want to do it. It's really
but you know where I was going with it, Dave. Okay, because I agree with everything you're saying. Because you're right, everything happens for a reason. But where I was going with this too is if you get comfy in the muggle job and you're making money and you're relying on it, and then you really feel this pull towards doing the spiritual work, that's where people have a really hard time separating the two, about making that leap, like jumping so the net will appear, unless you are forced. You're without a job, you're unemployed, you got 2 paths before you, your decision's almost been made for you. Do you want to go back to the muggle work, or let's jump into our background in the way of spiritual healing that we've taken, the course we've taken? You see what I'm saying? But I agree 100% because people...
No, I agree with you. It's hard once you do. And Leslie, I'm just as a funny side note, I'll tell you a quick story. How I left my job was I couldn't take it anymore, and I was so afraid to lose it. And like I said earlier in the show, I'm that guy who manifests stuff. When I keep thinking about it and do it, it happens just because of the way it applies. Well, I had put out this was the night before, I had put out to my angels and guides and everything, and God, whatever you want to say. And I said, I just can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm afraid, and I don't know how to get out of this. I need your help, and I give you permission to help me. The following day, when I went to work, we closed that night. Some kids put some solution all over the floor. It didn't put any signage out. I came around the corner. My feet went out from under me. I fell to the ground, slammed my elbow, and I got my tendons. I had surgery. I had to get surgery because the tendons got messed up. From that day on, I was out of that place.
And but you never had that in mind, but that was the opportunity.
Yeah, and that's how it manifested. It's just
that's what I was going to say, though. It's all about perspective, is what I was going to say, because you have to look at, because I can honestly tell you from personal experience, some of the worst times in my life, and I have been homeless before, not by choice, never planned seeing, hurting my back as a nurse. My life changed in about 5 seconds. Okay, I was going to be a doctor. Never planned on having a child with severe autism, never planned on any of these things. But I can tell you some of the worst things that have happened to me in my lifetime. No, my child was not one of the worst things. What I'm saying is, I mentioned a few things because most people would not choose to have a severely disabled child. I always say autism can suck sometimes, but it has beautiful gifts in it as well. But where I'm going with this is, and it may take time, when we look back on something we've gone through really horrible, really difficult, it's about perspective. If we can step outside of the situation and look at, hey, that kind of had to happen because I wouldn't have had X, Y, and Z happen, and look at where I am now. It's about perspective.
Yeah, it is. Because at the time, I thought it was terrible because I hurt my hand. I was a musician. I can kind of play now, but it hurts really bad. But I wasn't a professional musician, but it's something that I love dearly. And I still have pain in my hand and all that. But, sometimes like Lorilei said, when you look back at it, you'll understand that it most likely was a gift in some way to get you to where you are
But it's
now.
about perspective, because
Yeah.
if you meet people, no judgment. You have the choice to be however you want in this lifetime. We have met many people, all of us in our own lifetime, who are very stuck in their story and the victimhood and what has happened with that. That is not being said with judgment. That is me not pointing at my finger at anybody. We all have a choice. We don't have a choice with what happens to us necessarily, but we have a choice with what we do with it. What was the lesson we learned out of it? What wisdom did we take out of it? What are the blessings that came out of it? And I said, this may take time. Okay. Sometimes it takes a couple of years to look back at it and we'll go,
Right.
wow, had that not happened, right? Like when I lost my house, and it wasn't through my own, and you know what? It wasn't through any fault of my own. I could have continued to have fought for it. It was the worst, horrible paranormal experience ever. Okay. And I chose not to fight for it. I was talking to a friend of mine who practices the law of attraction. And she had said to me at the time, Laura, maybe this is a gift. It was all full of black mold that I had not known about, that we eventually found out about. There were so many negatives to the home, but I had horrible neighbors. It was like the whole neighborhood had been affected by the paranormal activity. Now, you know what? I moved exactly where I envisioned. I don't care if I own a house right now, not my property. I will always look after it like it's my own. But something's broken, I don't have to fix it.
Yeah.
They cut
I
the
know.
grass. On top of it, all I wanted was polite, wonderful neighbors. And that's exactly what I got. I'm like in a house. It's 3 stories. It's a townhouse. My neighbors are incredible. If we could need anything, any one of us, knock on each other's door and ask. But otherwise, everybody minds their own business. Nobody's nosy. Everybody, you know what I mean? And we get along like a house on fire. All love each other. So Michelle says, hi, Miss. She's over Friday morning over in Australia. She goes, hi. I've been listening while getting, oh, you're back at work, Mish? She goes, okay, good. I'm glad to hear you're back at work. Because she said, hi, all been listening, getting ready for work. And she said, I wanted a break from my job a few years back now. I remember driving home asking for, ouch, didn't want to be hurt physically, but I'm guessing maybe that might, and she said, however, I was attacked in my job, not hurt, but my mental health was affected.
So you got out of for mental health reasons.
We don't get to choose how it happens.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes something happens that seems, I mean, nobody would choose to have happen would happen to you, Mish, either, or David. But when you look back on it, and you and I, when you finally finished with the Muggle job, we had some conversations,
Yeah.
and I had somebody give me this advice. It said, actually, when I got divorced, they said to me, you're going to look back a year from now and go, why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I had a horrible marriage or my husband was horrible or anything. We were done. And you know what? She was right. And I said that to you too. You're going to look back a year later and say, hey, maybe I should have done this sooner.
Yeah, all this stuff happens. And I'm going to give a quick plug. It's not out yet, but me and a friend of mine, India Lee, are doing a 3-month course on the Hermetic principles and the laws of attraction and all that to help people. So I'll let you guys know more about that later. But anyway, in the meantime, you don't even have to take a course, you guys. There's enough information out there if you really do study something. Lorilei and I will always tell you that. If there's something you're drawn to and you can afford it, by all means, go do it. Support someone, go do it. You'll learn something well. But if you can never do that, if something's keeping you from doing that, just know that there's resources everywhere. Okay?
Oh my God, there's so many free resources. I just posted with my Akashic Records practitioners. One, I think it was Julie, told me the link's not working. So hopefully if Amy sends me something, I can put it back out there, but you can use the main post I shared. It's with Amy Robeson, 10-day free course on soul evolution. Her master classes, you guys, and it's not because she was my mentor. She gives you so much wisdom, so much learning, so many freebies in those 10 days or 5 days or 4 days, whatever she runs. I'm telling you guys, if you can sign up for it, sign up for it. I have pages and pages and pages of free resources because I save them and I'll send them to people, especially when you're first getting into this. Should we read Should we read Jennifer's comment?
Yeah, I wanted to go up real quick. Go up a couple back to Nicole Thomas Ryan.
Yeah, she said she was looking
Nicole is out. If you guys, anybody knows Nicole Thomas Ryan, Nicole goes out and saves cats and helps cats, and a lot of it is on her own dime. So if you guys know her, it'd be really cool if you could contribute to her at some point, if you can. Just get hold of her. She does. She traps a cat. She takes them in. They get fixed. She takes care of cats nobody wants. She's got tons of cats in her house. I used to take care of feral cats, but not like Nicole does. Nicole and her husband, they do everything they can for animals and cats.
And
so
anybody who does that on Facebook quite a bit. So check them out because some of them need to
I just wanted to give you that plug, Nicole. Thank you for taking care of the kitties.
Yes, thank you. And Jennifer says, at the beginning of the year, I asked the universe for help strengthening my core. 3 months later, I had a back injury and landed in physical therapy. After a month of severe pain and very, very slow, hang on, I gotta go down, healing, I sat down and cried. Then I asked, what's the lesson? It turns out this is exactly what I asked for help with. I am so much stronger now. That's a beautiful thing you've shared, Jen, because most people, right, especially it's a physical pain, to be able to have the wisdom and to be the grace to be able to sit there and say, what is the lesson in all of this? And then to stop and listen and know exactly what it was. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes. And if you don't mind, I'm going to transition this topic into spooky stuff as well. Because Laura, like you guys probably heard Lorilei's story about something very paranormal happened to her when she wasn't looking for it, which wasn't a good thing actually at the time. And it's still wasn't a pleasant thing, but it got her it got her where she is right now, doing what she is because of this. That can happen to us too. Like me, NDE, I didn't want anything to do with the spiritual world until I had my NDE. After my NDE, I'm like, yeah, here I am. I get it now. So sometimes things do happen. We kind of get what we ask for, even if it's not verbally. So we'll go that where I wanted to transfer into spooky is because of like ghosts and stuff. Do I think
I have a lot of stuff downloaded tonight?
Yeah, and she has a lot of stuff. Do ghosts exist? In my opinion, yes, ghosts exist. There is something called ghosts. There is pretty much something of everything that you can imagine that exists. And it does if you have the capacity or the ability to believe in it. Like someone like me, there's some stuff I can't wrap my head around believing. And not that it's not true for anybody else, but for me, it's almost like there's a block up. I'm just never going to see it. And
you be careful for what you ask, because I have run into so many people who have never believed in the paranormal. Never believed in any of this. And they move into a new house or they move in somewhere. And it's like, I never believed in any of this. Hi, it's Woo Riders, DG.
What's up, Florida?
Hi. Welcome.
So it's and it's always a be careful what you ask for. There's certain things that I didn't believe in when I was younger that I totally believe in now. And I grew up in a spooky atmosphere. And when I grew up, there were ghosts in our house. Every house, they followed us from house to house to house. And I wasn't the only one, but boy, they loved to play when I was home. They never, ever once did anything to me that was terrible. So that's why I'm in that sense, there's some stuff that's hard for me to believe. I used to always believe that a ghost cannot touch you until I was doing a
okay, sorry.
Until I was doing an investigation. I told you about that, where they were talking about to the ghosts, and they had all this big professional equipment up, and they were talking about a ghost, and they said, "This is David. He's a medium. Do you have anything to say to him?" And I was like, "I just don't want him to touch me." You could see in the camera the way it touched me. My shirt actually moved, and that was one time. And then the second time, it touched me in the side, and I just said, "Okay, I'm done now. You're not touching me anymore. I'm finished. I got my answers I was looking for." Now, can ghosts do anything else? I don't know. I can't say. But I can tell from my own personal experience, yes, there was a touch, and my guides have explained to me how that happens, but it's a long explanation I won't go into. But things like that can happen. We really can I mean, we have the ability to literally heal our bodies. So if we have the ability to heal our bodies, we also have the ability to make our bodies sick. And we also have the ability to let someone else influence our opinions, whether from this world or not from this world. Does that
I'll
make
tell
sense?
you, living in the I've told these stories many times. My earliest story of the paranormal, I was 3 going on to 4. I'm going to be 59 August 15th, and I remember this quite well. First paranormal experience, and it was a thunderstorm. I don't know what time it was. You've heard the story many times. Many of you guys have. Gauzy curtains on the window like they would have in the late 60s, early 70s, and everybody was asleep, and the wind was howling. Looked like branches hitting the window, and as I peeked out from underneath my covers, it looked like a long finger. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Long fingers on the window, scratching, and all I did was hide under my covers and say, "Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me." And I swear to God to you, and it was not myself. I remember this. Something pinched me, not quite on my behind, but right about just above or just below where your belt might go if you're wearing a belt. Terrified me, traumatized me, never told anybody. Then we moved into a brand new home. Plus, the home I was in was so old back in the late 60s, early 70s. My parents were renovating the home, and my mom was steaming off wallpaper, and it took her, I think they went through 37 layers of wallpaper to get down to the plaster. That's how old that house was. So then we moved into a brand new home. I was turning 8, so I was just 7. And the house was built brand new. Nobody lived there. Nobody lived on the land that we knew of. And every night at 3 a.m., beyond a shadow of a doubt, I would wake up blue and unable to breathe. I couldn't get a breath in. I couldn't get a breath out. And I was terrified to go to sleep. Eventually, my parents brought me to the doctor. They gave me medication for asthma for a couple of weeks. It was not asthma, being a nurse, and my kids have asthma. It was not an asthma attack, I can tell you that. I have no idea why that happened. Same as in my previous home that I lived in. I was not looking for the paranormal. I actually said to my partner that I am with to this very day, I said because I had started looking at angel cards and spiritual positive type things before this all started 15, 16 years ago. And I said, I only want to work with the light. That's why I only do angel cards and oracle cards. I want absolutely nothing to do with the dark. And I remember this very clearly. And he said to me, Laura, in order for you to be doing this kind of work and know the difference, you're going to have to know what the dark is in order to know the light. But we were not looking for paranormal. We were not into anything paranormal. And the experience we had was mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's what you said, Lorilei, for me personally is a very, very accurate statement. And it is true. You can't know the light without the dark. So we can't always sit there and say the dark is so bad, because the dark is there always to show us the light.
It has to be here.
Yeah, it has to be. It's a polarization.
On this earth, in this 3D existence, it's perfect. You always say, you've heard me say this many times, Dave, many of you guys have. Spirit showed me the perfect example of a human being. If there ever could be perfect balance, a human being would be perfectly grounded to the earth, running energy from the center of the core of the earth, right up through the body, through your invisible energy centers called chakras. Some people call them chakras, right up through your head. Okay, because we do have chakras above our head, right up to source, or whatever your beliefs are, God, Buddha, the universe. Even if you don't have a belief in that, you can believe that you're perfectly connected to the sky or space. Okay, but on this side, there'll be the perfect balance of light and the perfect balance of dark, because that would be ideal. We'll never get that as a human being. That is how it has to be.
Yeah, we might get it someplace. Whenever stuff goes wrong, I always tell everybody the universe is trying to balance out. Because actually, if you look at positive and negative, we're not on a linear line. A positive and negative is like a wave. So it's like it's a wave up and a wave down and a wave up and a wave down. And each one of those switch constantly. So that's just how it goes. It's actually equal. It's an equal amount of light and dark. It's just what part of the wave are you riding on is the whole thing.
Oh, I like that. Dave, what do you want me to show? Some of the TikToks? Do you want me to do bizarre? But by the way, you guys have any questions? Paranormal, spooky, whatever. We're not doing readings, but if you guys want to ask any questions, We're happy to talk about it. Do you want me to show Bizarre Bub? I sent that to you. Do you want me to
I'm
send
thinking yes, with the doll, because with the doll in the beginning and the is that the one, the doll in the beginning and the
no, I think that was in Loey Lanes I sent to you with the
whatever you want to show up, just go for it, because then I'll see it for the first time like everybody else.
Okay, but what about, well, I did send Bizarre Bob, or do you want me to show the picture that you showed, that you sent me from TikTok, the video?
Oh, no, because I don't want to make that creator feel, well, we don't have her name on it, right?
I don't know. Well, I don't think we're going to diss her.
No,
because you were pretty fair in your comments as well. You said to me what she said in the video. She feels that, but we're okay. If you don't, how about we won't then? We'll see what people think. But this person claims there was a ghost caught in this picture.
You could show it. I mean, people aren't gonna. We won't say.
We're not going to be mean about it.
No, I don't want to be. Yeah, we're not going to be mean.
It's good to show. It's good to show people about discernment and debunking and being skeptical. Hang on, I got your walk on here. It's just loading. Give me a sec. Where are you? Where are you?
Leslie is a good question. Leslie asks, is Lucifer really a fallen angel? It's going to depend on the perspective of the person you're asking. From what I know, from having my near death and everything, there's no such thing as a fallen angel. But in real life, I'm going to say in real life being the other side. In human terms, yes. It's part of how things were written here. It's part of how things went on. I mean, you can look at Lucifer or whatever you want. I have zero belief in hell. Therefore, I have zero belief in a devil. So we can call it what we want, but even we had discussed, human beings have to put a label on something. It's just how we are. So
I know from personal experience what I have experienced. I have not been the only one in my previous home. And I had a dream about 16 years ago before the extreme paranormal activity started. And there was a tree in my front yard. There was a man sitting up in my tree. And I remember this dream like I had it 10 minutes ago. I can tell you what he was wearing. It had dark charcoal. There's a reason why I'm mentioning this. It goes along with you asking the question, is Lucifer really a fallen angel? And the man was wearing, I always say I'm not a high maintenance kind of girl, but it was a dark charcoal and white pinstripe suit, very expensive, white silk shirt, black silk tie. He was human looking, but he had the sickly kind of whitish green skin. His hair, for people listening, I'll show you guys, was all slicked back, about cut just below his ears, all in length. And he had very shortly trimmed, almost like stubble, a little bit longer, beard and goatee all in one, mustache. But his eyes were like flaming flames, and they would go to black. And I had just been starting a little pet jewelry business and pet accessories and stuff. And I was still married to my first husband at the time. And I had said, this is so weird. Like everywhere I've gone around today, and I've mentioned about the little business I have, everybody wants to sell my merchandise, but nobody wants a commission. And we had just watched the movie, The Secret, that had come out. And I remember my first husband, his name's Earl, and Earl saying to me, and we were joking and go, oh, maybe it's The Secret. That night I had this dream. And the man in my tree said, hello, Lorilei. He said, you know, that little business that you have, that's nothing. And he was very sarcastic with this tone I'm using. It was much worse than what I'm saying. He goes, that's nothing. I can give you wealth. I can give you fame. I can give you anything beyond your wildest dreams. And I can't use it on the air. What I said to him, let's just say we used a lot of cursey words in asking who he was, and under no uncertain terms would I agree to follow him. And he told me, these were his words, not mine, he was a demon. He told me his name. He told me how to spell it. And again, much more emphatically and much more colorfully that I can't say on air, I told it where to go. And he started laughing at me. And I've had people, I've even been on a podcast, somebody that's been on Ancient Aliens and stuff. There was 10 people. They came for me. They said they seen my episode on the Travel Channel. And there's no way it could have been anything evil or dark in the way of what's known with demon lore. I don't even know if it was a demon. I'm just telling you what it said. But this guy said to me, they don't give you your name. Well, that's what you've been told.
That's what you've been told.
That's what you've been told. That's what your experience is. Anyways, when I told him where to go again, He wagged his finger at me from the tree, looking down at me, and went, "Oh, no, 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 no. Every time you see a crow or a raven, you're going to know who it is." And I remember calling on Archangel Michael at the end of that dream. And I woke up in a sweat, crying and shaking, which I am none of the above. And all hell did break loose. But the creepy part, I could not find this guy's name for love or money. And I had been raised Catholic. I'd been forced to go to church every Sunday, forced to go to Catholic school. I'd never heard this name, nor could I find it. I was helping somebody about 5 years later with some paranormal activity. They had had a dream, didn't get the same name I'd been given, but said, "I've had this dream. This name keeps showing up in my dreams. Is this something associated with something really negative?" As I was looking it up for her, I indeed found the name of the dream from my dream 5 years previous. Exact name, exact spelling, and it is indeed represented by a raven, and part of the legend and lore beneath it, because depending on your belief system, this demon that presented to me was one of the first 40 created under the fall, if you believe that Lucifer fell. I'd never heard this name before, never heard the spelling. It's not a long name. So I have no idea.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it's depends on the people. Just from my NDE, though, one thing I came back with was the affirmation, the affirmation or whatever, that when I was a child, I knew there was something wrong when I used to have to go to church. And I was telling my parents about this, and they'd be like, "Shush, everybody get mad at me," because I had that memory. And during my NDE, they said the same thing, that hell exists here on earth through our minds. And
I don't believe anymore that hell exists, but I do believe there are lower.
Oh, there's yes. Oh, yeah.
And if everything is energy, right? Okay, because we're going to answer Leslie's question. So do humans manifest demons? If everything is energy, and energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be transferred from one place to another. We know that tulpas exist, that if enough people talk about it, think about it, draw pictures of it, and what have you, you can literally, the energy can take form. The other thing I'm going to share with you, Leslie, is that I've been given from Spirit, and I repeat it many times, it's not mine. What we perceive as human beings becomes what we believe, and it becomes our reality. So do humans manifest demons? I would tend to say, I think that darker energies that take form can come from many places, including other realms.
Exactly. And we will label them demons.
Human beings do need to label things.
We label. Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's actually what Lorilei and I are saying. Stuff exists. What we call it is all of whatever the person needs to call it. Yeah, it's semantics. Thank you. We can call it whatever we want. It's kind of like some people call God God, some people call God Allah, some people call God Source, some people call God this. I call God all.
Father.
All there is, was, and ever will be. Yeah, some call Father, some call Father, Mother. And it's just because in a human perspective, we feel like we need some kind of parent looking over us. And that's where the originally came from.
I think it comes from religion, though, too, David.
It does. It comes from religion. That's the parent. They need something to look after us when actually, we're not going to go into a religious talk, but in my belief, we are all everything. We need all of us in order to be that one thing. So, and this is kind of I look at life as this is kind of a create your own thing, create your own fun. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I want to go through life and I want to know about this. I want to know about that. And if this is the best way to do it, I'll see a demon. And if this isn't the best way to do it, then I won't see a demon. Maybe I want to be a demon.
I wanted nothing to do with demons. I wanted nothing to do with the dark. If you guys see me scratching my hands, by the way, let me finish, Dave. I'm sorry. I am deathly allergic to ultraviolet resin. I had gloves on. I don't know if it's seeped through, but my hands are covered in these major itchy blisters. So if you keep seeing me itching, I'm putting cream on like crazy. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Itchy woman.
It's awful. I don't know if you guys can see. Like my hands are covered. It's
the thing at the foot of your bed, you guys, is Lorilei's itchy hands.
Itchy blister. It's literally like a million mosquito bites biting me, and I couldn't figure out what it was because I do get eczema. It is ultraviolet resin. and I cannot go near it unless I wear gloves. And I had gloves on, and I don't know if they're too porous or what, but my skin is not liking it. So by tomorrow, if I pile this stuff on, it'll be better. Go ahead.
Listen, you know what? People can go believe what they ever want to believe. And you know what? If somebody has concrete evidence or somebody's doing it for the validation of trying to explain something to somebody or trying to help with something, I think that that's totally cool. It's the people who capitalize on it. In fact, I was watching a TikTok live of people in a cemetery, and they were doing spirit box sessions. Okay. I love spirit box sessions, especially if it's a good spirit box. But every 5 seconds, they're going, all right, we're at 40,000 followers and then 42,000 followers. And then all of a sudden you'd hear the thing say something. And I'm like, I wanted to write so far. Okay. Now you're just capitalizing off dead people. You're just like desecrating these things to get likes and views. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but you know what else I want to add though? Like I said, Dell and I and my children were not looking for an experience. My partner, Dell, has been thrown 15 feet across the kitchen. I have pictures of the burns, the bites, the scratches, all kinds of things. We weren't looking for that experience. But did maybe Dell and my children all agree before we contracted to come into this lifetime that we were going to have this experience? Because to me, you can call it what you want. Okay, it was not a positive experience. And you know what? But I learned so much from that. I would not be doing what I'm doing today, nor would I have met the people. So this is what I'm saying. I always say I would not have wished this experience on a blade of grass. Not that I'm any better than a blade of grass. We are all truly connected. But, and we've said this on air before too, Dave. We talked about it off air. I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing now had I had that experience.
Yeah, if I hadn't had a near-death experience, I probably still wouldn't be doing this. I'd still be drinking and partying all night long, having fun, you know?
But that's looking back at really could be one of the most horrible, could be very difficult, something that you would never choose to go through again, nor would you make the conscious choice to go through it. But it's having the discernment to step back after so much time and look at it and ask yourself, or like Michelle shared here, I think it was Michelle that did, please forgive me if I got the wrong name. I think, Jennifer shared that after you go through something like that and you ask yourself, or even while you're going through it, what is the meaning behind this?
Yeah.
And to be able to understand what that is.
Even when bad stuff happens to me, I always say, ooh, what's it trying to teach me? That's the point I'm at now. Trust me, it took half a century to get to that point. But, you know, she's true about, like, sometimes we may contract this stuff in because from my age 5, about 4 or 5, right around that age, that's when all the crazy started with our houses. I mean, plugs unplugging themselves, plugging back in. I mean, literally watching them come out from the wall and going back, stuff turning back and on. I wasn't a 5-year-old going, oh, I wish there was ghosts. I mean, I didn't. It just happened the same way, like Lorilei said. So you have to think, maybe you came in needing that, because that stayed with me from like age 4 or 5. And it stayed with me a good up until I was about 20 years old. And then it would just be in and out. They would still talk to me all my life. They talked to me all my life. But
Dave, for example, okay, last night my air fryer blew finally, and I use it all. Hang on, I'm trying to mute this. I use it all the time because it's so hot to heat up the oven, and my son only eats chicken nuggets and French fries. Okay, so I was looking for one. I finally found one at Walmart, really good price, right? I figured, okay, great. I'll run over there. Looks like they got them online. Went all the way to the center of the city. They don't have any, but met the most loveliest person at customer service. So that was one thing. Super helpful, super kind, and she brightened my day up. But I also needed fuses, because where we're in, they don't have a breaker. They have fuses, and nobody has 15-volt fuses right now in the city where I've been going. Anyways, went there and ended up walking out empty-handed. I really did not want to go to Walmart at 10 o'clock at night, 10:30 at night, right? And I went there really for nothing. And I asked Spirit, okay, these are the type of things you get into the habit when you do this type of stuff. I said, why did I have to go to Walmart at this time? Why? Yeah. I still don't know what the answer is, nor may I ever know. But there had to be a reason why I had to go at that time. Right? I went there for nothing.
No, after No, you're absolutely correct. After my NDE, I had gotten out of the hospital. I was now kind of walking a little bit. I had a moped. And I didn't know it was mine until I got home. I'm like, yeah, moped, what's this? And I asked my dad, I said, can I drive this? And he's like, do you know how? Do you remember how? And I'm like, well,
I remember this story, yes.
I tried going around the block. So I was so happy. I got on the moped and I went driving around. It had rained a little that day, but I drove around and all that. And I was heading back home, and I was going towards a four-way stop and go light. And I was going about 30 miles an hour or so. As I'm heading up to the stop and go lights, the light changed from green to yellow. I don't know what happened in my brain at that point, but it panicked me and I slammed on the brakes. I hit both brakes. Only we forgot the back brake didn't work. Only the front brake worked. So when I put on the front brake, I flipped up over the bike and landed almost in the middle of the intersection. Now, here's the funny thing. I had just come out of I had surgeries and for 2 months. I had these things in my chest. I had tubes. I had to go in and break my ribs and do all these things to get to my lungs. And when I fell, and I was wearing a helmet, they said, we don't know what happened, but nothing opened up. Nothing damaged the surgery at all. I did tear, I tore the tendons in my left shoulder a little bit, but I'm going to tell you guys, there's a reason why that happened. And it was basically when I flew up in the air, I'll tell you, when I was coming up off the bike, I thought to myself, so this is how it's going to end. That was my thought. I was like, all right, I was just there. I'm cool, and it felt like somebody literally grabbed onto me and gently placed me down on the cement. Because when I opened my eyes, the first thing, it was just this Southern girl, I opened up my eyes and she said, don't move. Y'all just broke off your back. And she went on and on, don't move, don't move. And I'm like, what? Don't move what? They thought I had broke my neck and everything. But that made me realize, because I was having a hard time in the first 2 months when I left the hospital thinking everything was fake. It's like they said, no, this happened. And then there's some other crazy stuff that happened too. But yeah, things happen for reasons and we deal with them and we move on. And like ghosts and all that, I do think ghosts are real. I think how you perceive the ghost is in your own perception too. Like Lorilei says, it's, what you perceive is actually what you believe, or what you believe is actually what you're going to perceive.
So for people listening, Leslie's 266 says there are no wasted moments. And Jennifer M says, you're so right, Leslie. I want to go back a little bit because there's been a few comments. So Woo Riders DG, I do know this, and I know David probably does too. Sorry. True fact, the raven bird has the intelligence of a 5 to 7-year-old child. Yes, I would love to have.
They remember you, and they can actually explain stuff to other crows about you.
Yes, I know. I'm not afraid of crows, by the way.
No, I love crows.
No, but after being told every time you see a crow or a raven, and I didn't even get into some of the crazy stuff that happened with crows in my home. I don't hate crows. We actually even have rescued baby crows, and mama bird and daddy bird have thrown them out of the nest thinking it'll help them fly when they're late flyers. So
maybe that demon was trying to make you aware of crows so you could help them.
We had a crow. We had security cameras. We had a crow that hopped up the steps every morning at 9:30 a.m., went right up on the railing and looked into the camera like this with its neck twisted almost upside down. It was creepy. Like I said, we didn't get to the crow stuff. There's a lot of crow stuff, but it doesn't mean that every crow is like that.
No,
it's the experience that we had. Something just moved on my bed. I have no idea what that was.
I kept looking behind me too. I could have swore I saw a shadow going back behind my door.
Well, Rue Ryder says,
this is what it's like to be us sometimes.
We're not going to give them attention. We get EVPs on this show. We get all kinds of stuff. So Rue Ryder's DG says, not many people know of School 4 in Jacksonville, Florida. Super haunted. Well, guess what? If you got video, you got pics, you got info on it, share it, put it in our group so we can all share. And we'll talk about it next week. If you got info, we writers, we'd love to have you be part of it. Right, Dave? Dave, did you freeze or did I freeze? I don't know. Somebody froze. Hopefully it's not me. Let's stop sharing and see what happens. I don't know. I think David's frozen unless I am. You guys will have to tell us. I'll have to look. Hang on, guys. I'm going to look on YouTube just to see who's frozen here. Hopefully it's not me. Let me see. Oh, it's David. Okay, David just mentioned it's buffering on his end. I'm good, eh? Okay, Julie. Here, this is what we'll do. Oh, Dave popped out. I'll tell him pop right back in. I'll say, yeah, David's okay. I was trying to check. I knew one of us was. Just let me message him. He probably will know too, but I'll say just pop right back in. Give me a sec. I'll say pop right back in. Pop right back in. Same link. So yeah, if you, and just so you guys, while we're waiting for David, if you're just joining us, you guys are listening to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. I always got to remember both names. And you can hear us on 105.3 FM out of Mississippi and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans. And while we're waiting for Dave, stay tuned if you guys like what you're seeing. There's Dave. Because we have the second night of the Outer Realm coming up with the amazing Amelia Pisano and Michelle DeRoche right up after us. So, oh, you're done. We talk about UFOs here. So everybody's going, here he is. I was saying David's frozen. I'm not sure. Yeah, because we got talking about ghosts and spooky stuff in the back of our house. That's why looking up behind us.
My internet just cut out for a minute. It just took me totally off. Woo, we got some stories for you. Well, I got a story for you one day.
Okay, so Wu says definitely I'm more into the ufology field, but I do field research and studying all things Wu phenomenon. Yeah, we talk ufology. You should see some of the videos. So the interesting thing about Thunder Bay, where I live, is I live right on the shores of Lake Superior, and I'm about 40 minutes away from the Minnesota border. I'm about 6.5 hours north of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I don't know what it is about this city, but I kid you not, we're having a huge paranormal conference. I'll be speaking at it. Carrie Lynn Shellhorn is one of the featured speakers, October 4th to 6th this year. And we've got Shane Pittman, Jeff Belanger, Chris Witkowski coming. Whole bunch of people are going to be speaking. It's going to be an awesome weekend. But we have every kind of paranormal activity you can think of. Like, I am not kidding. You can name it. We have it. I don't know what the energy is around Lake Superior. We're right on the shores of it. David's seen even some of the UFO videos I've taken. I've got missing time. We could go on and on. Bigfoot, Dogman, you name it, we got it.
I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you something, Woo Rider, real quick. The very first experience I had, was UFO related. And that's when I was a little boy. I was tiny. And I was complaining about I wanted toys. And I was with my mom and dad, my older brother. I wanted toys, and they kept saying, no, we'll get toys tomorrow. And we pulled up into the driveway, and my dad pulled me up out of the car, and I was behind looking over his shoulder. It's just funny. Two things happened with my dad looking over his shoulder. And there was this huge light in the sky. It was huge. And it just stood there for a minute and then flew over the house. I remember we all just kind of looked at it. And then on the door was a plastic bag full of these little safari action figures. And it said to David. And my dad and mom called around and they said, do you know who put this there? Nobody knew who put this there. And then when I got older, I was looking over his shoulder at the house, and I saw my UFO stuff. It isn't much more with seeing the UFOs, but I saw an actual being. And I know I saw that being, and it's over and over, but we won't talk about that being right here, right now. But I saw the being in the flesh. So I know, and it was before I knew what kind of being that was actually even called. And I know, and to myself, I'm like, they exist. I spent a good part of my life trying to tell people, they're here, they're here, they're here. And then 2007, when they started to release stuff, I was like, in your face, I told you. So I was happy.
We know. I think most of us. Julie, I didn't mean to miss your comment earlier when you were talking, David, about your experience with the motorbike. I know Julie Jean Bassett said I had a similar experience, bad car wreck that totaled her car. And then everybody's saying pros are awesome, very smart, solve problems. We've got our video uploaded. You guys want to get into this is so quick. Okay, so I'll preface. This is from Bizarre Bob. And he put out a new video. Now, this is creepy, being a nurse and having worked in the medical field. I know right away what my thoughts are, what this could be, but see what, and before I even say any further, Woo Riders DG says, believe. Yes, believe.
Right. Yep.
Okay, let's add it. So these are ambulance drivers, and I don't know where they're going. I don't know if they're even at the end of their shift. It's a little dark. I'm sorry, guys. I'll try and make it bigger too. And the guy that's driving the bus, as we call it, looks in his rearview mirror. Like, I think it was his mirror that shows the back, the one that's in front of us.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that's what it was. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you had it. You were right on.
I was correct. See, I was doubting myself. And anyways, he thought he saw a face in there. So see what you guys think. There's some interesting videos in this compilation. So hang on. Let's make sure we got it big. I want to make it big. Hopefully, I don't want, oh, come on. You can go bigger than that, can't you? I guess that's as big as we can go.
It's pretty big over here.
Okay, is it? Okay, so we're going to play it.
On July 1st of 2024, an ambulance driver stands far away from his vehicle while sounding immensely terrified. According to the driver, he had to pull over immediately, as it was just then that something baffling had occurred. In his own words, he was driving back to base when suddenly he saw something in the back of the ambulance. Upon realizing what it was, he stops the vehicle and jumps out in a panicked state. Now, due to a lack of parking, he parks the ambulance inside an alleyway, but even from a distance, he can't seem to look away from the truck. Clearly, something has left him deeply unsettled. The following is his footage. Take a look.
All right, so I'm not sure how to talk about this, but well, first off, I've been an EMT just for a little bit, and like I ain't never experienced nothing like this. So as we driving back to base, I swear I seen a face in the rearview mirror. Like,
tell me as soon as you can.
I need to turn this engine off though, cause like we're gonna be stranded out here.
Yeah, as soon as possible. Thank you.
It doesn't stop this every. I'm getting so into the video, I forgot with fair use, I can't just play the whole thing. Okay, this just happened July the 1st, 2024. And so this guy thinks he sees something. So he's going to turn off the vehicle. But I was thinking, like, what are you guys going to do? Just leave the ambulance there? Like, what are you going to do? Like, you just parked in a dark alley. I think I'd be more afraid of what's in the dark alley than what's in your bus. But we'll proceed because he does turn it off eventually. I do have to pause it every now and then, guys.
For those listening, he's getting into the car.
Did you hear the bang in the back, you guys? There was a bang in the back. I was wondering, how is he recording after you took the cat out, when he took the keys out? But you'll see.
And for those watching, no, that wasn't an orb.
You didn't see it. I don't know what it is. I keep thinking, how is he recording? Like, is there a recording device in the ambulance?
No, hang on.
Then you find out, nope, he forgot his phone.
I don't know if you see it, but
This is hard to see, but we're gonna.
can y'all see that back door? Like, it just, like it just flew open. Like, can you? Oh. Nah, what the?
Camera is trying to focus.
Can y'all see it?
No,
hell no.
We're gonna see how close. Okay, the camera is trying to focus. Now I don't know about y'all, but when you got those cameras that are looking for a face to focus on or something to focus on, right? And it can't focus and it gets all blurry. You may think I'm crazy and I don't know all the answers, but I swear to God, especially if people are paranormal investigating, there's paranormal activity. I swear to God, that spirit is standing very close in proximity to the front of that camera. I swear to God, because it happens every time. And then you'll either get an EVP, someone will get grabbed, you'll see something will happen. That's been my experience. I'm not saying it's all true, but anything I've watched. Michelle Wilfong says, I saw that flash, David.
Yeah,
So,
I know a lot of people in the audience are probably go, look at the orb when he got out. No, the guy got out of a truck. There's a lot of dirt, a lot of sand. We can't say what it is really.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, I want to see this replay.
It's hard to see. I know
it's no wonder why the EMT was immensely afraid of going back to the ambulance. Something appears to have been inside. Although we don't see a face as the EMT claims to have seen earlier, we do see what looks like a shadowy figure moving back and forth. It appears to dart from side to side, as if being stuck inside. The EMT driver thinks that whatever this was had been the culprit behind the cabinet door swinging open on its own, which he says had been the loud thump heard inside. But as for the mysterious face he'd seen earlier, that remains a mystery. Some believe that maybe this may have been the spirit of a deceased individual who unfortunately passed away inside the ambulance. While many think this, others have no idea what this could have been. Whether ghost or something else, the EMT was just glad to have someone from work pick up the truck. To this day, the question remains, just what exactly had been inside the ambulance?
Okay, so I don't know. I'm going to tell you.
Perspective-wise, I have to say, I do understand this, you guys. I'm going to say this. Now, because I was thinking to myself, I would just go in the damn thing. But that's different because I'm versed in this. For somebody who doesn't know much, like I could understand why a guy like that would be very scared because he doesn't, that's for him, that's the unknown.
He didn't even say it was a ghost, so I bet you they didn't know someone was in the back of their ambulance.
That's what I mean, but he was afraid of something unknown. He didn't say what it was. You know what? I'm going to say this. I don't know how real the video is. I mean, I can't make that claim, but I will say this. I do agree that in places like ambulances and stuff, there could be residual spirit stuff in there because there's some very traumatic things that happen in there. So I think there could be imprints. And that's why if he said, I saw a face in the mirror, I would say, you know what? I most likely believe you because I understand how you might see that. I've seen lots of things that were, I've probably seen more residual haunts than I have actual intelligent spirits.
I don't think it's residual. I think what it is, and I have run into spirits this myself working with people. I think when somebody passes, actually just had a really good medium on the other night from the UK on the Angel Rock. We were so on the same page with everything too. I think that when sometimes somebody passes very quickly, very tragically, it is completely unanticipated. Sometimes spirits don't know they've passed. No, I'm just going to tell you what I picked up from there. I could be completely wrong. Okay. And I always tell people,
we're just giving our opinions.
No, someone tells you that they're 100% correct. Run. I don't care if it's in this field, any field, because we're human beings. I almost picked up like in male energy that had a drug OD in the back of the bus. I think that that's why that door opened, and I think that's why we saw that frantic energy. I just really felt that way to me, and it was looking for a way out. It didn't know it was gone. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I picked up.
That's the feeling. The feeling I got is that there was nothing in there at all except for residual. But that's just how we feel. I mean, I didn't feel anything terrible about it.
I didn't say it was terrible, but I have run into.
But the unfortunate thing was when videos like that, now nobody in that video said this. So thank God. I was waiting for him. I was waiting for it to come out of his mouth, and I was ready to never watch another video he said. If he would have said, it seems as though the spirit was stuck in the van. There is no stuck.
This guy's never going to tell you what to think. Yeah. This guy does not tell you what to think.
Yeah, that's what I liked about him. So, I mean, but to go with what Lorilei said, there's nothing stuck that I know of. But
I didn't say he was stuck. I don't think he realizes he's gone.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Confused. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, mm-hmm. I would agree that a spirit could be confused. I don't know if that's what that was, running back and forth, but I think that video is good. I watched the guy over and over. That was not the guy telling the story, but the guy in the video. And for me personally, I felt credibility behind him. So I think that he probably most likely something did happen, but there's some other stuff that are kind of wrong too, because even if you got back to work and they said, where were you? What took so long? And you said, we were in an alley with ghosts and all this to a hospital.
I don't think so, because I'm going to read Kathy Hanley Little's comment. She said, I believe that it's real. My son and daughter were both EMS. There are many stories. Can I tell you the stories? I wasn't even looking for a paranormal story this afternoon. I love watching Charlotte. What's her last name? Here, I'll find her for you. She's the redhead from Canada. And people, it's always, am I the a-hole? Charlotte Dobre. And there was an EMT that was on there, female. They showed up for a call, and I don't know what video it was in today because she doesn't do paranormal. This girl was answering. There was a trend on TikTok where somebody's complaining about that they don't buy bottled pesto sauce or something. And the big thing you start out with was, wow, Susie, that's amazing. And then they tell their own amazing story. Okay, so I believe this. I have seen this in hospitals. As a nurse, I have seen it.
Oh, I believe it's hospice.
I have worked as a medium and seen people. So the only thing I'm going to say this girl told was they showed up at a call and the police said, okay, you guys are here. Can we get out of here now? And the girl and her partner going, no, we're not quite sure what we're going into. Do you guys mind hanging around? And you could tell those cops wanted to get the heck out of there. They went in there. Long story short. Now, do I have proof? She didn't have video. She didn't have anything. She's just telling her story. This woman, she said, was unnatural, only spoke Spanish, and this girl did speak Spanish as a second language. The husband was dressed in a suit, and this woman was so unnaturally contorted. She was talking about, she only spoke Spanish. There was all kinds of weird, wacky things going on, bending unnaturally like she never should have. And again, you're going to call BS on it, I know, because you don't believe in this kind of stuff. But I am telling you, she said this girl was speaking Latin. Those cops couldn't wait to get out of there soon enough. Anyways, long story short, without getting too long into the story, it was a crazy story. But I can tell you from working in hospitals, from working in palliative care, I have seen people. And I know even you can ask Michelle DeRoche after this, because we've talked about this on air and off air many times. There are people that pass quickly and tragically that don't realize they're gone. They have no idea. They're just.
That can be. You have no idea you're gone. It does take a minute. I wouldn't have known that I was gone.
It wasn't a minute. It wasn't like they don't know. I know that there have been people that will go out there and help people, because this is what Leslie asked, would it be an opportunity to help them cross over? Well, I guess you could offer, but you can't force anybody to cross over. Yeah. They're going to cross over when they want to cross over, when they're ready to.
Okay, that's me. That we agree on that one. Yeah, it's just whenever you want to go, it's up to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's see what else that was in here.
That was a good video, though. I would say, yeah, we have pretty much the same opinion. I believe it could be real.
And I might be wrong, but that was the energy I was feeling, and it could be completely.
I could be wrong. And I could be wrong too. Going, I just didn't feel anything. Maybe I just didn't feel anything. It doesn't mean that I'm right. That's how we play here on the thing at the foot of the bed. everyone's
This one
allowed
is
to have
kind
their
of
opinion.
weird. Like it's kind of hard to see. So let me move forward here. What was this?
Okay.
Oh, this one was kind of cool. This is okay. This one here. Let's try.
Oh, I just want to tell you
of
this,
course.
though, which I want to tell you why you're talking about nurses. You know what? The doctors in the hospital
mind, it
didn't
doesn't
believe
want to
as
mute
much.
me, so we will just
The doctors in the hospital didn't believe as much as the things
Yeah.
that happened to me as the nurses did completely, because they're the ones who were trying to tell the doctor he didn't know this and this and that. So you're always going to have someone dismiss, and I think, like Lorilei said, a lot of nurses and a lot of EMTs, a lot of hospice workers, they've all seen things, and sometimes they just don't know what to make of it.
That's why I'm writing a book. One of my books is connecting with death doulas, fellow nurses, when I say first responders, ambulance attendants, and police, about incredible, crazy, amazing, miraculous, and sometimes maybe even spooky things that we see that are unexplainable in our line of work, especially if someone's transitioning from this plane, as I say, back home. Because we see some crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Like Diane Brighton said, my dad worked in Toronto City Morgue, and the stuff he saw there in the 1960s, I am telling you, it's crazy. Okay, let's add it to the stage. Okay, so to preface this lady says this keeps happening at her house, basically. You'll understand, because, and just so you know, bizarre, if I'm going to show video in here, at least I try not to, nobody is going to tell you what to think. They're going to say, I'm going to leave it up to you. What are your thoughts? Because I don't think anybody has the right to tell somebody what they see in a video, especially when they've got a channel. Just my thoughts, but
no, it's true. And actually, even if we play a video and somebody does tell you what to think, you can still think whatever you want. That's totally cool.
Absolutely. But I try not to watch things like or share things like that, because I don't think anybody has the right to tell you, unless they absolutely know beyond a shadow of a doubt what's going on, or they're relaying the person that experienced it and shared the video's words. But they're still saying, what do you think? Right? I'll leave it up to you.
Exactly.
Okay, let's show that. This one's not too long, so.
Afternoon, a mother walks out of a house in a panic frenzy, as it was just then that something baffling had occurred. Outside on the back patio, the family's dog started acting strange, appeared to be there. Although unfazed by the dog's behavior, considering that they often do this in the back patio, the mother decides to record this video, and for good reason. Whenever their dog starts to act up, something very strange happens. As the mother takes this video to show others what usually happens, this is captured.
Look, you guys, it rocks, but then it stops on its own when I come outside. Let's see if I could get it on camera. There's like no wind. That's I know, Blue, someone's there, huh? I know it. I know. I don't know why it does that. It does it every time, you guys. This is the third time. I can't believe I caught it on camera. Sick on Blue.
That's why I was laughing at little tiny dog.
Creepy, right? Katie, I guess they do have a ghost bit.
Like she called her
I'm
bitch.
shutting the door.
As many have stated, if it wasn't for the dog's reaction, this wouldn't have been as strange. Clearly, something had set off the dog. The chair suddenly stopped.
I'm stopping that for a reason. David, did you just hear that? Did any of you guys just hear that? I literally just heard a little kid's voice go, eh. You guys didn't hear that?
Yeah, I don't think it was me.
Okay, what time? Okay, so I'll try and mark it in our time. 1:17. It's about 1:17. Let me write that for you guys. I'll start the video while we're doing this. Sorry, 1:17. I just heard it and I went, holy crap.
Stopping on its own, coupled with the dog's behavior, has led viewers to believe that this was paranormal. The mother who took this thinks so, but any ideas on what exactly had been on the chair remains unknown. Whether supernatural or not, this video remains a mystery.
It wasn't that long. What'd you
Yeah,
guys
the
think?
thing is, I mean, I'm not saying anything about it. I was going to ask you to rewind it, but I just saw what I wanted to see. I wonder why the dog started barking when it stopped and not when it was going.
Well, I don't think we heard. I think the dog was barking when it started too.
Yep.
Want to rewatch it?
Yeah, I did. I watched it twice. I showed it the second time. He doesn't react to it until it stops rocking. That's why I thought, I wonder if it's like, did I see something on the chair, saw it perfectly? Because dogs don't, from what I know, and I could be wrong because my eyes are not in a dog's eyes, but even a lot of spiritual people and anybody else will say, dogs, it's like when a cat sees you, a cat doesn't see like David when a cat walks up to me. The first thing they see is energy, and then it goes in, and then they see the form. Because animals just, that's how animals see outside. They see in different spectrums. And I thought, and there's some things that they say dogs do the same thing. When a dog just sees something like let's say a spirit, he might see the outline of the form of the spirit and then see the energy or something, and maybe that's why he barked. That's what I was asking. I wasn't saying
you're usually right because you notice things right away if you're looking for it, but I thought the dog was barking at the chair. And she goes, "That's right, Blue, something's in the chair. You go get him, sick him, boy." And then when the chair stopped, then it started to bark again.
Yeah, see, I didn't see it barking at all, but who knows? But
well, people got good ideas. Like, so Michelle Long says she did hear that voice. So I've marked it. If I find it, I'll clip it and put it in the group. Jennifer M says maybe the spirit got up and it startled the dog. And then Nicole Thomas Ryan said maybe the dog barked when it left because it was someone he knew that left. These are all good ideas.
And those are. I mean,
I didn't feel anything bad from that.
No, I didn't either. I thought it'd be, and I didn't even think the girl didn't seem panicked either. So obviously it wasn't. Now,
no,
I will say
we meant to say hi. She was popping in while we were showing the video. She said it's the first time here, so welcome. And she said, and to know animals even have eyes that can see in the dark. And then Julie said, I believe all animals can detect spirits, either seeing or detecting the energy. 100%, Julie.
Exactly, 100%. We all agree on that one. We all know that one.
Because if I'm helping someone with the paranormal, some of my earliest questions, I have a questionnaire I'll ask people is, do you have young children or animals or pets, I'll say. And if they say yes, I say, what are you seeing with their behavior? Depending on whether it's a young child and or a pet or both. Tell me what you're seeing when you're seeing it and why and how. And because I do believe, like, honestly, even with activity in my home, I know with my cat, but especially my dog, I know right away if there's something in my house with my dog. Right away. I don't even have to feel it. My dog will tell me. Like she picks it up that quick.
Yeah, they usually can always see it. I'm going to tell you guys, I debunked my own house one time because I had one of my cats, Carmel it was. Carmel kept, this is the old house I had. He kept looking up in this corner all the time, and I would be like, Carmel, what are you looking at? And he'd look at me for a minute and he'd go stare back up again, and I could not see anything. And he did that for a couple nights. And then one day I got fed up. He's looked up there. I just stood up and I said, I don't know what he's looking at, but you got to leave because you're scaring me. And I went and got a chair and I went up into the corner. Did you know that I had like a little picture? There was a little bug. So I took the little bug and I put it on the floor. That's what he was looking at. He saw a bug that I could not see. And that's what he was seeing. I'm not saying
the first thing I always check for if my cat's looking at something. Even if I can't see it, you did the exact right thing. I would do that too, David. Get a chair, go up to the corner, take a close look, because your cats especially can see. But I know right away. But usually, not always, chitter a little bit too. I call it chittering, right?
Yeah, they do see spirits, though. That is true. Because my cats, and I know they're spirit animals. I've had my old cat walk on my bed several times, so I know.
Oh yes, you. So Isla says cutest name, Caramel.
Yeah.
And Natalie. Sorry, why did I say Natalie? I have no idea. So Michelle's Wilfong, are we ever truly alone? I think you'd have to kind of define, what do you mean, are we ever truly alone? Because I think if you really want to be alone, I mean, your guides are going to be with you, but they kind of stay out of our way. If you don't interact with you, they're not going to be in your face.
I think it depends on now. If you're talking about are we truly alone as far as like other civilizations, I don't think so. There's too much proof there. No, we're not alone. If you're talking about are we truly alone, I mean, you could tell, your spirit knows when you need your space, but I mean, all the times where you were sobbing and crying and you thought you were all alone, no,
Yeah.
you were never alone. There was
Yes.
always somebody there. Always.
Yeah. So, but I always, when I'm working, teaching, mentoring with people, I explain to them that if you wish to know your guides, your angels, the ascended masters, your team, whatever it is on that side in the light better, you can have a little conversation and say, I wish to know you better. Could I give you permission to work more closely with me, whatever it is? Because most people, right? Like I believe that our team, if you will, stays in the background because like they're going to exactly what you said, Dave. If you're upset or whatever, you need comfort, you may not feel it, but they will be there. But they respect our free will and our space, I think, right? Because we know so many people have no idea these things exist.
Exactly. You can go your entire life and never know they're there. You know, and I'll say this even about hauntings. You know what I always say about hauntings? A place or a house is only as haunted as the people who observe it. You know what I'm saying? Like if nobody ever went into a house, we could never say the house was haunted. And somebody went in and had the experience, and then they can start saying there's something wrong. It's kind of like, you know, does a tree make a noise when it falls in the woods? As long as somebody can hear it, yeah.
If you're putting it in that terms, I didn't quite understand. Yeah, you're right. Because that activity could very much go on, or residual activity or whatever. And if nobody experiences it, does it really happen?
You never know. Is it really happening? Yeah. It's just like people always, me and Lorilei say this, and we'll die on this hill. You don't have to wait till nighttime to have a ghost experience. They are during the day.
Sorry, Dave, I just had to jump on this because Dave is going to jump right in here, but we don't have enough time. Has anyone had an experience with angels? Oh my gosh, Isla, we could do a whole show on it. Why do you think my show is called The Angel Rock? David is an angel channel. We got people in the chat that have been around angels, have seen them, have worked with them. Yes.
Yes, I do. On my website, I'm just going to plug it for a minute. On my website, I have something called Angel Message. They're $11.11, and I kept it like that because I love doing them. But you can ask a question, or you don't even have to ask a question. If you get it, they answer, and they speak very. I love the way they speak. But yeah, we both have experience with angels. I've been a written channel angel for about, almost 9 years now. Just doing that. And
so Jan Brighton says when she had her near-death experience, she feels she met an archangel. I believe you. Some people may not. From the Voldemort group, the person that started that group has quite the incredible story of never believing in angels and meeting up with Archangel Gabriel. I don't know if you ever heard that story, Dave, but I did. It's pretty profound. And never believed in angels. So
I love the human version of angels, though. I do. I love the human version of angels. I used to see them all the time when I was younger, and those are the beings that showed up at my NDE. That's who showed me around.
So I totally believe in angels. David believes in angels. I've had experiences with angels, not physical ones, but channeling, connecting. Actually, I don't really talk about it that often, but I usually talk more about the spooky. But yes, like you weren't here at the beginning. I said my partner Del, when we were hanging out just as friends, what did I say? I only want to work with the light. That's why I'm only doing angel cards and oracle cards. They deal with nothing but the positive. That was years ago. And I'll repeat it for those coming in. My partner said to me at that time, we weren't partners at the time. He said, in order for you to know the light, Laura, and be doing this kind of work, you need to know what the dark is as well, so you can tell the difference.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. It's cool.
Yes. So hang on, Diane, I saw about your couch there. She was basically saying she feels a couch that had something negative attached to it. And I'm going to go here. She said, I bought a secondhand couch. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my cursor tonight. It's not working well. I bought a secondhand couch. It was haunted mainly at night. Me and kids and cats saw and smelled it. She said in the late 1990s. And then she added, when they gave it away, other people, basically sounds like it, they had experiences as well, affected the next family. And Leslie says, I like that you both have mentioned you need to give your guides permission. I don't think you need to. It's just, I think that's kind of a step
Yeah, it's well, I would tell you, an angel is the same way.
That's what I meant. You keep the whole side there because they respect that we have free will.
Yeah, they all do. So
you let them know.
The number one law in the entire universe governing each and every universe, what I know of, is that whatever you are at any point in time, even in the afterlife, you have free will. So nobody can interfere with your free will. This is what I had heard, I'm going to tell you about, like my guides have told me, an angel or a guide will sometimes intervene.
Yep.
Let's see if I was going to get hit by a car was coming towards me, and everybody's like, okay, wait, David just can't go yet because that's going to affect this person's life, this person's life, this person's life, this person's life, this person's life. And they're like, David, we can't let you go. Okay. And my soul over there is going, yeah, no problem. And then we move out of the way.
100%. I agree.
Yeah, that can happen, I believe. But other than that, no. There's nobody. It's like, oh, trust me, we were just talking about this earlier. I think I have so many people who will just message me and say, what does your guide say about this? My guide said this. It's like, your guide's always going to point you back to help you figure out who you really are. They're not going to give you every answer. That would be counterproductive.
Why come here? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Why come here? So I'm going down a little.
Evil's in the eye of the beholder, so it all depends.
Yeah, angels are working. Yeah, I agree, and they have jobs. But what we look at, I always say when I'm teaching and mentoring with people, we look at things with our human eyes, if you will. But what we're not seeing is from our higher self perspective or our spiritual, everlasting, higher being eyes that we all are. So when we try and rationalize things or we look at them, sometimes I think we're looking at it from a human perspective versus if we can get into that higher self or whatever you want to call it and see it from that perspective. Like you'll hear people say, and we have very little time left, guys, so we can't jump into it. Next week we're in the group. But people that will say, I hate God now. They took something away from me or someone away from me that I dearly loved. It's all God's fault. It's not God's fault, right?
God doesn't care if you believe that either. It's totally cool.
No, but where I was going with this is that's kind of where we get into the heaven and hell too with religious dogma, because when somebody's done something really evil, that in our eyes evil, and we look at it, how do we get justice? There is no such thing like that on the other side. And that opens a whole can of worms. Well, what do you mean there's no justice? How are they not punished for this? And right?
Well,
yes.
I don't disagree with your last comment, Isla, just because I've been to that side and I've been talking to her child. But I mean, it's you can believe whatever you need to believe in order to compensate something. There's no such thing as war out. Okay, I'm not even addressed that comment at this point. But anyway.
Well, you know what?
That is absolutely correct, Diane.
Tell them about our group, and then you can tell them how to get a hold of you.
Okay, if you would like to join our group, it is called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed, and it is on Facebook. You are allowed to post anything you want in there and say anything you want and give us, if you have pictures, paranormal pictures or anything, we would love to see them. And if you allow us, we'll talk about them on the show, unless you don't want us to. Also, if you'd like to know anything else about me, you can go to my website, theywhispertome.com. The only place you can get a reading from me. I do not ever privately DM you, so if somebody does that, they're a fake. You can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at Medium David Hanzel. I would have like 95 or more thousand followers on TikTok. Otherwise, there's fake accounts on that. And my Facebook group is called The Spirit Experience, and so is my YouTube. Thank you.
There you go. So, you guys, thank you for being here. If you enjoyed what you're seeing, please stay tuned for the second night of the Outer Realm with the amazing Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Michelle is also our station manager. They're coming right up after this. And if you ever want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me right now on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. I am working on getting a domain name, One Stop Shopping, because I am getting busier. So it'll be so much easier. Just go there. You can pick and book a time and pay for it all. And so I'm working on that. So easiest way right now, still facebook.com/The Angel Rock, or better yet, just get a hold of me on Facebook Messenger or any social media platform. I am on there under the name Lorilei Potvin or the Angel Rock. And speaking of the Angel Rock, Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have a new show for you. I think her name is Jess Curzon. It's something to do. I think it's astrology. Please don't quote me. I didn't get a chance to look. I'm going to be messaging her because I think we're going to pre-record a little bit earlier in the day for her because she's over across the pond and it's a little bit late over there. But it will be a brand new show. But she might come on live. You never know. She might change her mind. Either way, it's going to be a new show, you guys. So I think that's everything I wanted to remember. So remember, you can find us also next Thursday, same place, same time. So Dave, you ready to say it?
I am ready. 1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
Foot of your bed. I was thinking stay spooky.
Lorilai's messed up hands are at the foot of your bed.
I don't know what I was thinking. We've been doing this for a year and a half. And if you guys that are new here, David and I are trying so we can get it right on point. So we say it exactly at the same time. So it's kind of our thing at the end of the show.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Yes. All right, you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll see you next week. Love y'all. Okay. And David and I are working on it. It's my fault because I'm always busy. But Dave goes live on TikTok quite a bit. So I am trying to join him over there too. So if you can, join his TikTok because you may see both of us over there. Okay.
Yeah. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky. Till next week.